Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria and we are here talking about the super full moon in the sign of Aries occurring on October 6th of 2025. We're going to talk about some aspects where this was started, and we're going to pull some cards for the collective and also for each zodiac sign. So stay tuned for some extra information and to see where this lunation may be impacting you the most, bringing you closure, or perhaps bringing something to fruition. As always, if you do enjoy my content, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and say hello in the comments. Drop a heart down there and we'll all connect our energies. And if you want to see more content, do hit that subscribe button with the notification bell for notifications whenever I post something new. So this particular full moon, okay, this was started back in March. On March 29th, we had a super new moon eclipse in the sign of Aries. So this came along with a lot of very potent energy. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the baby of the zodiac, is very passionate, sometimes very impulsive, but it's also really good at getting things going, getting things started. And there was some lucky aspects back there with that super new moon, with that eclipse. So for some of you, your luck is hopefully coming to fruition, and hopefully you've got something that is really kind of finishing out a big, perhaps very long, depending on your sign, cycle that we've had. For some of you, there's been one thing after another for the last 6 months, and you might be feeling like you can't quite catch a break. So this could be a little bit of a sigh of relief for some of you, but this can also give you the drive and the determination to make some change, because that end of a cycle, that end of 6 months, you could be like, okay, I am done with this particular situation. I can't keep going up and down, back and forth, and I need this to be over. So it can be a relationship, it can be a job, it can just be some patterns that you've had that you particularly do. So the full moons are when we do kind of bring an end to something, and in Aries energy, it can be an abrupt end to something here. So there's a lot of very powerful energy that's going on. But this full moon in Aries, I mean, a full moon is always very emotional. Of course, the ruler of Aries is Mars, right? And so Mars is the warrior planet, right? And so we can, we can fight till the end. We can fight for what is right. We can advocate for ourselves or other people, perhaps they're using that influence. But communication is the key at this full moon, because yes, emotions and tempers can run high. So just be aware of that, okay? Make sure you stay grounded. There could be some tempers flaring around you. There could be some words taken out of context. And on the very same day, on October 6th, as this full moon, we do have Mercury that is entering Scorpio. So that can be, it can be a really positive aspect, right? Mercury is very chatty. Mercury is our planet of communication and technology, news, our neighborhoods, trips, little short trips, things like that, right? So the quick little things that happen in our day-to-day lives. And Scorpio tends to be a little bit more intense. Scorpio rules our house of relationships and other people. And this particular full moon is happening at 14 degrees, which is actually a Taurus degree. So there could be some money things going on. There can be some money things that we're talking about, especially with Mercury and Scorpio. Scorpio can be about those possessions, the money, the things that we share with other people, whether they're friends, family, romantic partnerships, or business partnerships there also. So is something coming to an end? Is something coming to a close? Or are you ready to turn over a new leaf and talk about things? Mercury and Scorpio can be very intense conversations that can bring about immense change. And even though we don't always love change, because it's, a little challenging sometimes, change is one of those things in life that you can count on. right? The more things change, change is ultimately very inevitable. So there could be some really positive discussions there about making some changes, but you could also be doing some deep thinking, like it's time for me to make a change and I need to do something a little bit different. But whatever your situation is, just remember, under this fiery lunation, things can get emotionally charged and out of control quickly. Okay, so stay grounded, take a step back, take a few deep breaths before engaging back with anyone who just wants to argue, wants to fight, and do that same thing for yourself as well, right? Taking a little breather, counting to 3 before responding can actually save the day, okay? But, again, for some of you here, there could be something coming to fruition and you see the fruits of your labor, all the effort, all the action that you've taken over the last 6 months. This can be where you really see some of those results. And for some of you, it can be really, really exciting. We do have, just right around this time of this lunation, just a few hours after, actually, we do have a very challenging aspect with Pluto, with Mercury and Pluto. Pluto again is the ruler of Scorpio energy. So it's like really packing a punch. And it can be good because we can get things out in the open and we can, really kind of anything that's been hidden, anything that's been buried, things that haven't been talked about, things that have been lurking just beneath the surface. This is where they all come out in the open. Sometimes we need a good blow up every once in a while. But just watch your words, all right? Very much watch your words. So where is this going to impact you and at what time of day? So we've got the full moon is occurring on October 6th, Pacific time in North America. It'll be at 8:47 p.m. So it's a late one. If you're in the East Coast, New York, 11:47 a.m. or PM, I should say. Over London, UK, 4:47 in the morning. So right at the very height of this full moon you'll probably, most of you, be asleep. All right. But don't fret, because you will very much still feel the impact of this energy, right? We do feel this energy for a couple of days before, a couple of days after at least. And we do have a new moon in Libra coming up, and we are still in Libra season. So balance, fairness, equality, fight fair, okay? Fight fair, try and get things, kind of restore a little healthy equilibrium there. Don't throw any underhanded punches, if you will. So this full moon, look back to the new moon that we had in with that eclipse back at the end of March, and you'll know where this is occurring for you, but I will also go through it with each zodiac sign. So again, heightened emotions, heightened tempers can flare up at this time, but again, we can get some closure and hopefully a really positive turning point for a lot of people. So let's grab a card here for the collective and see what messages are coming out. Woo, thank you very much. And we have mindful. Okay, and that came flying right out of the deck. So mindful, be mindful. And we do have a full moon on that. And look at all this orange autumn energy that's on this card. So couldn't be more perfect of a card to get out. But be mindful. So number one, be mindful of yourself and your own energy and your actions and your words and your feelings. The more that we are mindful and aware of where we are and what we are doing, we're less impulsive, right? Remember, Aries energy does carry impulsiveness. All right. But when we're mindful, we're more grounded, we're more stable, and again, we're more aware. So be mindful of yourself, your energy. Also be mindful that other people might be feeling extra emotional and a little bit testy at this time as well. So just be a little bit aware of that, and not only choose your words wisely, but choose your timing. If you have to have any conversations or anything like that, timing is everything. And so you might want to wait, fortunately for a lot of people that, there's some challenging aspects that'll come in the next morning, but you may also already be dealing with people and stuff. So the morning after, kind of like a hangover, the morning after the full moon will be your most challenging time. But you can also practice mindfulness. We can do some meditation. We can work with the full moon. We can let things go, right? It is a time to release and make space, make room for some newer, fresher energy. So whether you work with candles or crystals, or whether you just sit outside and stare up at the moon, right? Just kind of embrace this lunation in the positive ways, right? We can use the fire to fan the flames of passion and to get that little extra energy boost to finish up some tasks and projects and things, right? So, we can really use it to our advantage in some way, but certainly some meditation and some grounding and connecting with nature may certainly be in the cards for you at this time. So let's leave that there. We're going to go through each zodiac sign and highlight where this lunation is happening for you. And we're also going to pull out a couple of cards for each one. All the timestamps will be down below in both the description box and in the comments section, so you can easily navigate. Do watch your sun, moon, and your rising signs for the full picture. So we'll get right into it, and we're going to start with the star of the show, Aries. Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your full moon in your sign. So this is, of course, all about you, your personal goals, your dreams, your appearance, yourself. Some of you may be inclined to do something a little bit radical, like chop off all your hair, or, perhaps get a new wardrobe, or perhaps you're just looking at how you deal with things in the world, how you deal with your day-to-day life. And you might be ready to make some sort of change. Maybe something you do holds you back, or, perhaps there's something you can do that might make you a little bit more, say, appealing to other people. But you could certainly be looking at anything really to do with you. Again, your attitude, your goals, your dreams. Hopefully something is coming to fruition for you. But this can be the end of a cycle for you. Hopefully it's been a good one, and we're ready to bring in some fresh energy. Now, of course, like I said, Mercury is entering the sign of Scorpio the same day as this full moon. And Mars, your planetary ruler, is already in Scorpio. So you can be really having some very intense conversations with people. You could be resolving some issues, but again, with this energy, you could potentially be bringing something to a close and making some final decisions. This isn't working for me anymore. It's time for me to move on. Or if we're going to continue on this path, we just need to air out our differences and make a little bit of a change. So just work with this lunation as best as you can. You can really cleanse and purge any kind of challenging or negative energies or anything like that, the things that you don't want. Light a candle. A black one would be really good, but you can light any color. Just set your intentions before you do. And we are going to prepare for our new moon in the sign of Libra, which also does have to do with partnerships, right? And of course, your planetary ruler is in the sign that deals with other people, right? So this can be a fresh start, a new beginning, and some really positive change for you. So the card we get out for you is abundance. Well, hello. We like that. I mean, the abundance card is always a really good one. So you could have something really positive blossoming in your world at this time. So something really fortunate can be going on around you. Abundance, of course, can mean anything. It can represent love or people or opportunities. It can represent money, right? Whatever it happens to be, not only are your needs being met or you have the ability to find the resources that you need, but there's plenty of them. So if there's been a little energy of lack, then things may be about to change with the abundance card there. And we've got the Knight of Swords here for you as well. So you might need to, number one, communication may be swift for you here with this. Not surprising, considering we've got Mercury in Scorpio and of course Mars in Scorpio as well. So there could be a lot of communication and abundance of communication, if you will, but there can also be some good news or some chit chat somewhere around the Knight of Swords. Can be something really exciting. But this can also be you taking charge and making some decisions and putting something into motion. The Knight of Swords is often where we do to make a quick decision, or we feel a sense of urgency to get something done, or again, we might be getting some really good news with that. So keep the lines of communication open there, Aries, because that Knight of Swords can bring you something perhaps very interesting, or can help you clear the air. Swords energy, swords all about communication in the mind, all about your thoughts, right? But we can use the swords to detach and to cut away from things that have been holding us back. I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck in your lunation. Hello there, Taurus, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So this is happening in your 12th house. Woo, okay. So make sure that you try and find a little bit of time for some solitude. You might already be feeling like you want to spend a little bit more time alone, whether there's something you want to do or you just want to kind of detach from the hustle and bustle and detach from people. Your 12th house is the last house in the astro wheel. So there could really be some big endings coming in here for you. Now, it can just be the end of a chapter, the end of a cycle in your life, right? Because the 12th house also deals with karmic endings. And so this can be really positive for you, really freeing for you. But this is also about our subconscious, our dreams. Really pay attention to your dreams. Really pay attention to your intuition. Our intuition is heightened at a full moon anyway, but when it's in your 12th house, whoo, you might have some really deep insights or just this really big sixth sense about something. So trust it, because it could be pointing you in a very interesting direction or giving you some answers. Now, the 12th house does also have to do with endings, also has to do with secrets, the things that are hidden. And it can be the things that are hidden within you, but it can also be something that comes out in the open. Now, it might be that you've been working on something and you're finally ready to share it with the world. It can be that you've had some hidden desires or fantasies or dreams or feelings, right? And so now it might be the time where you get those out in the open. But whatever your situation is, this can be a really big end of a cycle, a chapter for you, but this can also be a freeing moment. So do try and find a little bit of quiet space. And we've got prosperity coming in here for you guys. Loving it. So, you know, again, we can have a big ending, and a big ending doesn't necessarily mean that your whole world crashes down. It can be that something comes to fruition for you. So in the energy of prosperity, this can be, of course, some money. This can be investments that pay off. Remember, this lunation is at 14 degrees, which is in alignment with Taurus energy, right? We go 12 and then we start adding up again. So second house energy is Taurus energy. So we can also look to, to Venus, and Venus is in Libra. So there can be some job contracts that come about. There could be some legal situation that wraps up for you, something that can bring you prosperity in some way, shape, or form. It can even be things like, you're ready to put in your notice with where you work right now, and you're like, I need to make more money, and I need to really, not only get paid what I'm worth, but like an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, but hopefully like a little bit more than that, right? And so this particular full moon is really connected with you being associated with your energy in the second house. So there can be something really positive that is opening up for you, right? And sometimes it doesn't happen quite on the full moon day. So it could be like over the next few weeks or so is where something can open up. So if you're ready for some change, put the feelers out now if you haven't already, and you just might be surprised what you might find. Beautiful. We've got the star coming up here. I love this energy. The star does, of course, really remind us about our ability to harness all of the abundance, all of the wonderful gifts and blessings that the universe has to offer. The star is about wishing upon a star. So again, some of you could have your wishes being fulfilled right now. It also highlights your intuition. So again, really pay attention to that. But the star restores hope and inspiration. So if you've been feeling a little bit down or a little bit blue, or that things have been a little bit challenging, this can be a significant turning point for you, and it can be one really positive blessing for you. But the star also brings success, abundance. It can bring a lot of wonderful things to fruition, but it can restore peace and serendipity to yourself and your world here as well. A little bit of magic when we get the star card. And of course, Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, and we do have Pluto making a little challenging aspect right after this full moon. So once we move past that, so there could be a little bit of turbulence there for you, but I feel like once you move past that, sometimes we need to shake things up in order to find freedom, or in order to move forward, right? Aquarian energy is very futuristic, so it sets you up for a better tomorrow, but there can be miracles and blessings coming in with that star card. So it can be really exciting. It can be really wonderful. It is a big yes card from the universe. Sometimes it's yes right now, and sometimes it's yes, but you just need to stay open and wait just a little bit longer. All right, but don't give up hope. Beautiful card, beautiful messages coming in there for you. I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this lunation, and we'll move on to Gemini. Hello there, Gemini, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. This will be happening for you in your 11th house. Now, your 11th house brings forward, thank you, Aquarian energy, and ruled by Uranus. And so there can be some, it can be very social for you. You can find yourself aligning with some helpful or like-minded people at this time. But some of you are also looking to kind of declutter your calendar in some way, right? The 11th house can be very chatty, but it is the house that does represent groups of people, memberships, things that we're connected to, especially on things like social media. So some of you might be, number one, kind of paring down your friends list or your groups that you follow. You may even be finding that you're detaching from social media in some way, even if it's just temporarily, especially at this full moon. Because, that way you can kind of ground yourself and maybe have a little bit of quiet space to yourself. So it's going to be very busy. Your social calendar can be very packed, but again, you could be looking to take that in a different direction. But you could also find yourself connecting at this time with people that align with you, align with your values, align with your beliefs, or they can be really helpful people for you as well, because the 11th house also has to do with the future, is very futuristic, but also has to do with freedom and your wishes. So you could have a wish coming true right now, but you could also be aligning with people that maybe be able to help you out in some way, whether you just garner some information from them, or whether it's actually really, really good help that someone might give you. So it can be very people-y. It can be very much about technology. Do pay attention to your technology, because you could perhaps have a little technological breakdown at this time. But you could be meeting some new people and having some intense conversations, getting to know someone a lot better, because of course your ruler Mercury is moving into Scorpio, thank you, the very same day as this full moon. So this can be intense conversations. This can be about aligning again with other people, or, you know, really paying attention and talking about the things that we do share with others. But it can be really enlightening, really eye-opening, and again, we can form deep bonds. We've got relax coming out here for you guys. So, you know, again, really busy, potentially really busy energy with a full moon in your 11th house, right? So relax, make sure you do just take a step back. Full moons do tend to be, again, very emotional, but our intuition is very heightened, and also our dreams, our subconscious is trying to show us something, tell us something, give us a heads up about something. And so if we're really busy, then we don't necessarily have time, and we're too cluttered, right? We're too cluttered and scattered. So relax. You know, some of you have been run off your feet. You've been really, really busy the last 6 months, you know, and so now it's like maybe you can just chill for a little bit. You've done everything you can. You've made all the connections you can, and now you got to let something play out. Whenever it happens to be, it's time to take that step back. But that particular relax card does have a owl sitting in the tree, and our owls do represent perspective. They also represent our higher mind, our wisdom, and also could be some very important messages coming through for you. They can come through via your social media, via your technology, via other people, but it can also come in via your dreams or via your intuition. So relax your mind, okay, and allow those messages or insights to come in. And we've got the Four of Wands for you here. Talk about people-y. Okay, the Four of Wands does tend to represent a celebration, a higher level of commitment. We've gotten something done. We've reached a certain stage of success, and it's time to celebrate. But the Four of Wands also represents creating a solid foundation, planting roots, and feeling secure. Also does represent social gatherings. So this can be your celebration, or this can be someone else's, but this is, you might get some invitations to go somewhere. You might want to go because you could make some really good, interesting connections there, especially if it's like a business networking and you're focused on your career, or maybe you're looking for love and you get an invitation to go to a wedding or something, right? Or, you know, maybe it's you're feeling a little disconnected from your family, a family reunion or a family dinner, whatever it happens to be. The Four of Wands does tend to be quite social and celebratory, and does quite often involve groups of people. It is, however, your 1111 card as well. So some of you are making progress towards your dreams and your wishes and your goals. And so you could have something very exciting coming to fruition for you there. So whatever it is, stay open to it, or stay the course, or get ready for some exciting news or some positive change there, because things are lining up for you. I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this lunation, and we'll move on now to Cancer. Hello there, Cancer, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So this is happening in your 10th house. So your 10th house is very much connected with your career path, with your business, with your reputation, and your public image. So it does represent the things that you've been ambitious about as well. So if we look back 6 months ago for you, back to that new moon solar eclipse at the end of March, what did that represent to you? Were you looking for a new job? Did you have new people coming into your workplace? Were you starting a new project in some way? Were you considering starting up a side gig so that you can make a little bit more money or be your own boss, right? So all of these things, something can be coming to an end, something can be coming to fruition for you. You might be finding that you get a little bit of a reputation boost at this time as well. People see you for what you bring to the table. They see you for what you're worth. And you see yourself for what you're worth as well. So this can be really good for your career status, but for some of you, with this being a full moon, if you haven't gotten rewarded or recognized for the things that you've accomplished, the things you do, the things that you go the extra mile for, then you could be considering making some sort of change. You could also have a situation at your workplace where other people might be making some very important career decisions as well. And so they might be leaving, and it can open the door for success for you in some way, or it can give you a little bit of a boost. Think of like retention bonuses and things. Companies tend to do that when they have employees start to leave. It's like, oh crap, we better do something so that the rest of our employees don't also jump ship. So 10th house energy is there for you. We have wish. Awesome. So the wish card, this can either represent that you are being guided and you are being the universe is moving you towards following your wishes, following your goals, following your dreams, whatever that looks like. You may need to let go of something in order to free up some time or energy to follow your wishes. Make a wish as well. I mean, a lot of people will say don't manifest at a full moon, right? But you absolutely can. It just depends on how you react or deal with full moon energy, right? Because it is powerful. So if you're one of those people where you love the full moon, it's not detrimental to you and your energy, and you actually feel a power boost at the full moon, by all means, set some intentions for it, right? There's no hard and fast rules necessarily there, okay? But some of you also could have something coming to fruition for you here, something that you really, really want. And perhaps something that you've previously manifested. Again, look back 6 months ago. What intentions were you setting? What did you want? What have you been dreaming about? Okay, because there could be a little bit of magic in the air for you there. And we've got the Lovers card coming for you as well. Now, Lovers card is actually really wonderful because it does represent partnerships. Yes, it can represent love and romance. Okay, it can represent soulmate energy, but it can represent two people coming together. And again, this can be the perfect job, the perfect company. Soulmate energy doesn't necessarily just have to be like two particular people, right? It can be partnering up with the right company, or partnering up with the right position, or having someone new come into your workplace and you're like, I dig this person's vibe, right? Think of a new boss that actually cares about employees and things, right? So the Lovers card can represent either new people coming in, energy aligning for you in balance and harmony, because the Lovers card can represent masculine and feminine energy coming right together in some really positive ways, right? Whatever, it can also be restoring something here. So something that's maybe been broken, or you've had a lot of ups and downs over the last 6 months. This is where something can come back together. But ultimately, the Lovers card is Gemini energy. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury. So there could be some conversations that go on about the things that we do share with other people. Some of you may have something happening in your personal life, and that can ultimately have a little bit of an effect on your career path. So the Lovers card can be falling in love and getting married. It can be moving in together. It can be sharing your resources, right? We do have Mercury and Scorpio right now. So this can be about talking about sharing our wealth, sharing our finances, splitting up our bills, that kind of thing. So you could have something really positive going on in your personal life that maybe takes the pressure off of, you know, how much money you need to make or how ambitious you need to be in your career path. It could give you some freedom. But that Lover's card is always a choice. Listen to your heart, tap into your feelings, right? What do you truly want? What do you desire? What makes you feel like things are in alignment for you? So we can choose yes, we can choose no, we can choose to come together, we can choose to walk away, we can choose something new. So really pay attention to that. But I feel like this Mercury in Scorpio that's happening, and Mercury will be in Scorpio for a few weeks. So this can be, you know, some really positive, intense conversations, whether it's new or something just coming together. And it can be exciting and it can be a little bit unexpected as well. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. Good luck in this lunation, and we'll move on to Leo. Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So this is happening for you in your 9th house. So some of you are graduating. Perhaps you started going to school, you know, a few months ago or 6 months ago, and you could be graduating about now. You could be finished one course and taking another one, perhaps. Or you could just be figuring out what lessons maybe that you've learned in the last little while. Sometimes it's the school of hard knocks, and sometimes it's things that are just fun, right? And we hone our crafts, we hone our skills. So the 9th house is ruled by Jupiter, so it is an expansive energy. It's also a philosophical energy, and it does have to do with your belief systems, your spirituality, your religion. So sometimes we have a little bit of a clash between the two. Old traditional belief systems may not necessarily be in alignment with some of your newfound beliefs and, you know, on the path that you're currently on. And so with a full moon here, you could be really letting go of some of your old belief systems, but you could also be looking for ways to blend the old with the new and, you know, hopefully find a little bit of a harmonious aspect there. The 9th house is also your higher mind. So, you know, a lot of times it's higher education. It does also deal with the law. Libran energy and also Sagittarian energy with the 9th house does deal with matters of the law. So you could have some legalities that are being dealt with, or you're finally closing on something. Maybe closing a house sale, for example, because Jupiter is still in Cancer, right? And that can be about your house and your home and your family. So there can be something going on there for you. But this is the area where we have big ideas. And so perhaps an idea that you had months ago, you finally figured out how to get something going, and maybe you do see the fruits of your labor right about now. It's like I've made some progress and I'm really excited about my next step, my next stage. The 9th house also has to do with travel. So some of you are getting ready to spread your wings and fly. And if you are going on vacation, I hope you have a good time. But the 9th house isn't just any old vacation. It's usually one that serves a purpose or travels a distance. So think of going to another country rather than just going to another city in the country you live in. Think about maybe traveling to learn something, or traveling for, you know, to see like ancient civilizations. I've got a friend right now, and she is on a trip of a lifetime. She's traveling around Egypt, and it's just, oh, I'm a little jelly. But it's like right at the time of this full moon is when she's there. So I really do hope she gets to see the full moon over the pyramids. That'd be pretty neat. But it's things like that, right? So we kind of travel sometimes either long distances or with a purpose. And we have some fun while we're doing that. So some of you may also be figuring out that, you know what, I need some more freedom in my life. I haven't had an opportunity to travel, so there could be something that you are letting go of so that you can find a little bit more freedom down the road. And we've got, oh, spontaneous. Well, maybe you're going to go on a spontaneous trip at this time. So just be aware that if you are going to book any kind of travel, last minute travel, you can actually get some really good deals. You can go to very interesting places that perhaps you wouldn't normally have gone to. So don't be afraid to be a little bit spontaneous. And that is very ninth house energy. That is very much Sagittarius energy. It's very much Jupiter energy. It's like, let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. Let's do something new. Let's do something we wouldn't normally do, right? So it's just this little energy of being spontaneous or doing something kind of at the last minute. It's like, oh, I can, you know what? No one else has a vacation at work at this time. Guess what? I'm going to go. And so it can be really, really exciting energy. And full moon in Aries, great time. Aries is spontaneous energy. Just be aware though that if you are going to make any kind of travel plans a little bit later, okay, try and do it before, at least even if you don't travel before the end of October, at least make your travel plans and get everything finalized before then, because the 29th, I think it is, Mercury goes into shadow, preparing to go into retrograde in November, and it's a kind of a challenging energy around that one, a little bit more than usual. So, and Mercury, of course, can screw up our travel plans. So just try and make sure that you've got everything booked, squared away, whatever, kind of before the end of October. You will be thankful for it, okay? But spontaneous energy is great. We also have here the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a wonderful energy. It does bring about some victory, some success. You've overcome challenges. You've overcome some hurdles. You've overcome some difficult things. And you're moving past that. The Six of Wands is like, I'm riding high. I'm feeling confident. I'm moving forward in a positive direction. And I'm celebrating my wins. I'm celebrating my successes. So you're riding a wave of success. The Nine of Wands, the Six of Wands, excuse me, a little different energy there. The Six of Wands here can quite often represent like public events and gatherings or groups of people as well, where we're having a good time or we're celebrating something. So there could be some exciting event that you want to travel to, that you want to go to, or that you might attend. And again, it can just be the spur of the moment thing. If you're normally a bit of a homebody and you want to, sometimes maybe you kind of stay close to home or something, or, this might be the time when you're like, let's just go and do this thing. Let's see if we can get a last minute ticket at the will call window or something, and let's just go. And you often are kind of spontaneous and social and whatnot anyway, but if you've been going through some challenges, then maybe you haven't had those opportunities. So now it's like, might be a little breakthrough for you. And the ninth house ninth house energy with Sagittarius energy does highlight some freedom as well. So you could again be finding a little bit of freedom there. So we can have some exciting things going on for you guys here at this full moon, or you are turning a chapter, turning a page, and you're like, I ain't gonna do this anymore. I need more freedom. And so you could be walking away from something. It might feel spontaneous or off the cuff, but it's probably something you've been thinking about for a while. And if it's a job change or something, that Six of Wands, you've got a good reputation. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there in the spotlight, and you just never know what might happen. I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this lunation. I hope it's a wonderful one for you. And we'll move on now to Virgo. Hello there, Virgo. Welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So this might be a little intense for you guys here because this lunation is happening in your 8th house. Now, your 8th house is Scorpio energy. We already have Mercury entering the sign of Scorpio the same day as this full moon. So, you could be, number one, you could be really contemplating something very deeply in life. You could be, really tapping into your creative side. Scorpio energy is quite creative, but it's very spiritual and can be very enlightened kind of energy. So there could be something here where you're going through some changes, you're going through some personal growth, because this can very much represent a rebirth, a renewal, a transformation, or an evolution of some kind. Yes, it can also represent endings and new beginnings. And of course, one thing ends and another thing starts, and quite often they do overlap. So you may already know what is shifting, what is changing, or what has to change in your life. The 8th house does also have to do with a little bit of secrets and mysteries, so there could be a little mysterious energy there. Also has to do with inheritances, so some of you could be dealing with financial matters at this time, and especially with this full moon being at the 14th degree, because that is a Taurus degree, and Taurus does rule your second house of money, income, investments, resources, your values, your worth, things like that. So there could be something going on there. 8th house does also have to do with loans, shared assets, joint resources, and finances. Also sometimes the sacrifices that we make, right? So all of these kind of things can be highlighted for you. The 8th house, think of those things that are inevitable: birth, death, taxes, inheritances, and hopefully it's a living inheritance if you've got something coming your way. But some of you may be just having difficult conversations about the things that we need to take care of in life, right? And Mercury in Scorpio is where we do that. We talk about making a will, or we talk about having end of life decisions and things like that. It's not comfortable conversations, but they're necessary ones so that we have peace of mind down the road. Right? We don't have to worry about things because things are already laid out. So you could have some very intense conversations there, but some of you could be finding some financial freedom. You might be paying off a loan. Yay! So that's always exciting when you can stick it to the banker. But you could also be finding that you're talking about, again, the money that you share with someone else. So whether you're changing something in your personal life, where maybe you're moving in with someone, getting married, getting engaged, things like that. And, and now you may have two people sharing the bills rather than just one. Unfortunately, with the 8th house and a full moon, you could potentially also have a breakup. We could be dissolving the things that we share, right? And again, intense conversations, but they can move you towards a little bit of freedom. And chances are it's not a surprise, right? It's probably the wheels have already been turning for a little while. So again, it can be a little intense for you guys. So stay grounded. Try and find, even just a short period of time where you can work with this lunation, or you can just sit in solitude, because you might get some deep insights at this time. But again, there could be a mystery that's revealed also, and it can be really positive for some of you. So secrets and mysteries may abound. We have Blossom here as well. And so Blossom is a wonderful energy. So this can be an opportunity for you to branch out and to grow. This can be a time for you to shine. This can be, again, where you can kind of spread your wings and fly. And if you're talking about money and finances, whether it's with other people or whether you're paying off a loan and now you've got some financial freedom, right? The Blossom energy can show something coming to fruition, show your ability to branch out, make some positive change, make some positive moves, right? But blossoms also represent some abundance as well. So whatever it happens to be, whatever changes are going on, right? It is your time to blossom and grow in some way, even if it's dealing with something difficult, right? Ultimately, it will give you that freedom to grow and blossom. We have the Hanged Man here. Oh boy, we have the Hanged Man as well. And so the Hanged Man can be very peaceful energy, right? It can be about taking a step back, letting things go, stepping into the flow of things, right? Just trusting the process or trusting what we're doing, right? So it can be one of patience, can be one of calm, but ultimately the Hanged Man can be where we have an open mind and we're maybe looking at something from a different perspective, from a different point of view. We're looking at the big picture in the Hanged Man energy, and in order to do that, we do need to take a step back. But that's where we get enlightenment, So again, there can be some growth here. There can be some spiritual epiphany that comes in, or just a little bit of an aha moment there. But the Hanged Man, in keeping with the 8th house, can be about surrender and sacrifice. So it can be about letting something go, whether it's detaching from something, or you complete a cycle and now you have some freedom. Or sometimes we let go or we sacrifice something of ourselves for the sake of another. And again, your 8th house does have to do with other people and the things that you share. So, it can be something like, a married couple, and perhaps for one person to pursue their dreams, perhaps the other person might need to put something on the back burner. But again, that can be the end of a cycle for some of you, because if you're always the one putting your dreams on the back burner for the sake of other people, that's where your ending is likely to be, because this is where you're like, I need to do something for me. I can't always focus on other people. And Virgo, you're a sign of service, right? And so you are often very helpful to other people, but sometimes that may come back to bite you, because it can be to your own detriment sometimes. As noble and as wonderful as it is, we do need to do things in moderation. So whatever is going on, or whatever needs to change, right, or whatever needs to come in, the Hanged Man is actually a pretty good card. Is it one of a lot of action, a lot of activity? Not necessarily, but we do get the answers, and we do see that big picture, or we do see that potential, or we, again, walk a mile in someone else's shoes, right? We can look at the future a little bit, but we're very patient in this energy there. So we can be playing a waiting game. For some of you, you've been waiting for something to happen. And of course, with that blossom energy, this can be a time over the next few weeks where something does blossom and come to fruition. So don't give up hope there with that Hanged Man. Just be open and receptive, okay? And be ready for some action, right? Because remember, we still have action-oriented Aries energy here, okay? But for some of you, it's like, I've been waiting a long time, and I think my patience has perhaps run a little thin. And so again, sometimes for us to blossom and grow, we do need to sometimes let something go. So intense full moon for you most likely, but hopefully some things do come to pass for you. But I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck with this lunation. I thank you for watching, and we'll move on now to Libra. Hello Libra, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So you should be a little bit more comfortable in this lunation than some others. Whoa, thank you very much. That's a lot of energy. Okay, there we go. So you could be a little bit more comfortable in this energy, because it is happening in your 7th house of relationships. Venus is also in your sign at this time as well. So you could be finding that perhaps a relationship is expanding. It's moving to the next level, higher level of commitment, perhaps. This can be a time of togetherness with your friends, your family, your romantic partners. You could have a surprise that comes up here as well. There can be a little bit of a healing energy that comes in here, and we can also be making some business decisions as well, because that 7th house of partnerships is about your romantic relationships, your business relationships, your friends, can also do with your enemies. So again, you can have some sort of deep realization at this full moon about whether someone is friend or foe. And you could be getting some truths. And sometimes, a full moon in Aries, sometimes those can be a harsh truth, but it can be something that spurs you into action, or doing something about it, or cutting that person off. It's like, nope, I'm not playing that game anymore. Ciao. But again, this can be about finding balance and equality as well. And I mean, even though you do have some beautiful Venus energy here, we can have some healing elements coming in with this full moon for you. But when we deal with partnerships and other people, it can either be with a full moon, it can go either way, right? It can either be something blossoming and growing, and some balance restored in a partnership. It can be some exciting news with contracts, or some legal issues that you might have been dealing with, and those can be resolved at this time. But at the same time, we can have breakups and shakeups, unfortunately, with this, but they ultimately free you from a situation that may not necessarily be healthy, or it might be hindering your growth in some way. So matters of the heart for you guys. But we do have some explosive energy coming out for you. We've got meditate. All right. And one of the best things that we can do at especially a fiery full moon is to take a step back and find some quiet space and meditate and contemplate. And whether you go outside and sit under the lunation, or whether you sit in your car for 5 minutes of peace and quiet, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter when. But when we meditate, we can quiet our conscious mind and we can realign our energies, right? We bring things back to center. We can also get clarity, and we can also get messages. So if you've been kind of in a conundrum, you're not sure which way to turn, you're not sure what to do, then a little bit of meditation may be the key for you. And you don't need to make anything fancy with meditation. It can literally be sitting in your car, taking in some few deep breaths in and out. It can be 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be filled with fluff and flutter and candles and crystals and herbs and all this kind of stuff. We can keep it really simple. If you, of course, nothing wrong with all that stuff. I have all that stuff too, but I've been known to just go and sit outside for 5 minutes and just breathe. And it's amazing how much that can recenter your energy and clear your mind. So meditation is the key for you. Oh, centered. There we go. So we also have centered energy. Meditation is the key to finding your center. But centered is, we can, should I say, you're represented by the scales, right? The scales of justice, honesty, truth, balance, fairness, equality, right? If we're not in alignment, and if those scales are not centered perfectly, then one of them is lopsided. So what does centered mean to you? We can be centered, grounded, focused, right? We can meditate. We can calm our energy. We can take those deep breaths, right? We can feel our power center, our solar plexus, right where your diaphragm is. And it's our source of confidence, our source of, I feel good. And we can do these little centering exercises at any time of day. But centered also can represent being the center of something. And when we talk about a full moon in your relationship house, like Aries energy, Aries full moon, Aries is the baby of the zodiac, right? And not to impugn any Aries people or anything out there, but sometimes Aries can be represented and referred to as being childish, sometimes self-centered. It's just me, sometimes, right? And so this can particularly be a full moon for some of you, where you might find that your relationship or a situation is always centered around this one person. And maybe it's not centered around two people as a whole, right? We can be self-centered sometimes. So, if you've got a situation like that where you aren't the center and you aren't the focal point sometimes, then we need to try and find a way to hash this out, to talk things out. Remember, Mercury's in Scorpio at the same time as this full moon, so we can have intense conversations that can bring about change, right? They can also bring endings. Okay. But can we become more centered, or can we find that equilibrium, that healthy equilibrium between two people, where yes, sometimes this person is the center, is the focal point, but sometimes you've got to be as well, right? Fairness, right? Sometimes we give and we take. You go, then I'll go, right? So this centered energy, number one, yes, yourself, your energy, your focus, right? A little bit of meditation may certainly calm your energy, center your energy. But this can also be, who is the center of attention? Is someone being selfish, right? Can we restore that equilibrium? And if not, maybe you are going to be the center of your own universe and say, okay, you know what, it's not working for me anymore. I can't do one-sided, right? And this could be the time when you make some change. And that can be your business partnerships as well as your friends, your romantic partnerships, even family relationships there sometimes. We also have here we have the devil. Okay. So the devil, release yourself from something. What is it? The devil quite often, yes, I mean, the devil card can represent toxic people and things like that, toxic environments. It can also represent a focus on material things. It can also represent an energy where it's all style and no substance, right? So that devil energy, right? It's like if we want a relationship to transform or to grow, we have to have deep conversations and we have to go beneath the surface. We have to learn about other people's hopes and fears and desires and all those things. But the devil card can represent that there's something just surface level and we're not going deep. Or there's someone around you or a situation around you that may have some negative traits. So the more you talk, the more you dig, the more you find. And now you might need to figure out, okay, can we resolve this? Can we get back on track? Is this something I can live with, or is it a massive red flag and I got to get out of Dodge? But the devil card can also represent your shadow side, your hopes and fears as well. And we do have a lot of hopes and fears sometimes that come up in relationships, right? Fear of being cheated on, fear of someone lying, right? Those kind of things. So, you know, we sometimes have to talk about our fears. We sometimes have to have those deep conversations, Mercury and Scorpio, okay? But the devil card can represent patterns, habits, behaviors that you have or that other people have around you. And this can be an opportunity to change and transform, but it can also be one where we're like, okay, you know what? I think that there's really no way forward from this. I gotta let myself go. The devil card does represent those things that you have an unhealthy attachment to in some way. And the devil always reminds us that we actually have the power to take our control back. We can take our own power back. And a week after this full moon, Pluto, the planet of power, right? The planet of power and change and transformation, Pluto has been retrograde for the last number of months. And on the 13th of October, Pluto turns direct in the sign of Aquarius. So freeing you from something for the future, finding freedom, making positive change, right? Forward momentum rather than feeling like you're going backwards or that you're stuck. So there could be something there where you have the ability to take your power back in some way, right? Doesn't mean letting something go, right? But it can certainly be about having those powerful conversations, right? The ones that dig and scratch beneath the surface so that we can really get some deeper understanding. So just be a little bit aware with that devil energy there, because tempers can flare, things can get out of hand, especially when you're dealing with relationships, okay, with partnerships. We always need boundaries and perspective when the devil card shows up. All right, and whether that's boundaries within you, boundaries with other people, look at things from a different perspective. We can also face our fears when we've got that devil card. So if there's something that you've been afraid of addressing or afraid of changing, now this can be that lunation where you are facing your fears and you're letting go. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this lunation. I thank you for watching, and we're moving on to Scorpio. Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. What's going on, Scorpio? This is happening in your 6th house. Now, your 6th house has to do with your daily habits, patterns, routines, your daily work, things as mundane as what time you get up for work, how many times you hit the snooze button, what other, your commute to work, right? Where you work, what you do for a living, all this kind of stuff. It is also the house of your health, happiness, and well-being. So we can be making some really positive changes to our daily routines. Some of you have made the decision that it's time to change jobs, especially if there's things going on where you're not happy or you're drained all the time, or there's maybe a circumstance or people there that are impacting you in a certain way, and you don't have any control over trying to change those situations, and the only thing you have power over is yourself. So there could be some interesting shakeups that may be occurring for some of you Scorpios out there. But whatever it happens to be, this is a focus on our health, happiness, our well-being, putting aside our bad habits, patterns, and behaviors, and embracing some new ones. And that Aries full moon can represent that, you know, you might be looking to see whatever it is you started new 6 months ago. You can see how far you've come, or you can again figure out that something's not working. We need to switch things up a notch a little bit here. And we ultimately need to either give ourselves a pat on the back or do something a little bit different, do something new. But certainly what makes you happy, right? What makes you happy, what makes your life easier, what enhances you in a certain way, out with the old habits and in with the new. The sixth house also does have to do with your pets. And so some of you perhaps, you know, you've been through a rough 6 months with maybe one of your pets, perhaps need to let one go. You need to help them over the rainbow bridge, perhaps. Very sad. I did that with mine just a couple of weeks ago, and never an easy decision, but ultimately best choice for them sometimes. But some of you could be changing your daily routines there because you are getting a new pet, right? Think of how your life changes if you get a puppy. Right, my sister just got a puppy, so it's like all of a sudden you gotta walk, rain, snow, shine, whatever it happens to be. Right, you know your life now revolves around your new pet, so things do change inevitably. So whatever it happens to be, something in your day-to-day lives, okay, is either blossoming, is either really successful, or you are perhaps letting something go. All right. We have celestial energy coming in here. So this can represent the stars are aligning for you. And this lunation can really be very helpful to you. And we can be transforming in some way, even if it's just small. But celestial can also represent things like the angelic realm and things like that. And so it can represent that your intuition is highlighted at this time. It's also a great time to get into contact with your angel spirits, guides, your spiritual soul tribe, whether it's your guardian angel or whether it's just celestial beings, you know, in general. They can really be helpful to you. They can give you some guidance, and they can also, you know, kind of help you make any kind of changes, or they can help you bring some healing. The celestial energy can also be very spiritual. So again, with your sixth house energy, your health, happiness, and well-being, whether it's your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual self here as well. Something can be about ready to transform. And you might get some new and deep insights there with that energy. So try and ground yourself, work with this lunation, try and do some meditation, even if you only have like 5, 10, 15 minutes somewhere. This can also represent that you're being called to expand your spiritual practice in some way, even if it's just spending 5 minutes a day in meditation. You'd be amazed what can happen in just 5 minutes, even less than that. 2, 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You don't have to spend 3 hours in meditation. Hey, if you can, great. But a lot of people can't do that, right? So wherever you start, no matter how small you start, even if it's once a week, right? It's better than nothing. We have the Page of Pentacles here as well. Some of you might be starting a new job, okay? The Page of Pentacles can be an offer, an opportunity, some money coming in. It can also be you purchasing something here. The Page of Pentacles also can bring in some news or some new information. It can also be your quest for knowledge. So if you've been wanting to learn something, or you need to research something and find some more information that can help make your day-to-day life a little bit better, that Page of Pentacles is very curious energy. So we do usually find the information that we're looking for. Might be because we've gone out and find it, or it could be from a person. So with that 6th house, you could be finding a practitioner, by the way, as well, because it is the house of service and healing. So think of, you might find a perfect doctor. Perhaps if you have got knots in your back and you're feeling stressed out, right? Your physical self, your physical health and well-being. The Page of Pentacles might be where you pay for someone's services, like a nice massage therapist or something like that, right? But you could also be paying at this time. You could also be seeking out like an astrology reading or a tarot reading or something at this time. And it would probably be money well spent, can give you some deep insights and things, you know, maybe that you've been hiding from, or things that have been just hiding in your subconscious. Whatever it is, whether it's money going out, information going out, or information coming in, that Page of Pentacles can bring about some really positive things and some good news. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful lunation, and we are moving it now to Sagittarius. Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. This can be quite pleasant for you guys. This is happening in your 5th house, and your 5th house does have to do with the things that make you happy and joyous. It's very creative. It's very playful. It is one where we might have some love and romance. Or we just do some things that put a smile on our face, that make us happy. So you could be meeting new people, you could be getting out a little bit more, or you could just be doing some creative things. Now, some of you may have been working on some creative project or something for the last 6 months, and one of two things could have gone on. Either you haven't had as much time as you wanted to spend on doing the things that make you happy and bring you joy and that are a creative outlet for you, or you have really made some inroads. You've made some progress, and now you see where all the fruits of your labor, you're seeing something pay off. Maybe it's something financial, if you create something that you can sell, but it can just be for your own joy, your own happiness. And it's like, yes, I did this thing. It took me 6 months, but oh my goodness, I'm so happy that I finally got it done. So you're going to be getting those things done. But some of you here, the 5th house with a full moon, you know, you could perhaps, we've got Jupiter in Cancer still. You could have some surprises coming in there on the romantic front. It could be a surprise pregnancy. You could get some news in that regard. And if you weren't planning, then you could get a little bit of a shock possibly here. Okay, so it could be a little bit of a surprise headed your way. Whether you want it or not. If you don't want a family and you don't want to have any more children or anything like that, maybe just a reminder to take some precautions. But whatever it happens to be, the 5th house can be really joyous energy. And it is, of course, in a fellow fire sign, right? So, you know, you could really find some inspiration, or you could just get a little bit of an energy boost from this lunation. So it can be kind of fun. Let's see, we've got clarity coming out here for you. So getting clear on what you want. Some of you get some answers, perhaps, or you can see your way forward. Okay, what is preventing me from having fun? What is my blocks and obstacles to finding love and romance? Is it something internally within me? Am I just too busy? Right? So you get some answers when we get the clarity energy here. You would certainly be very well advised and well suited to work with this lunation in some way, whether you just go outside and connect with the moon energy, connect with nature, whether you do like some candle rituals, especially if you were to burn away any fears or worries or doubts, those kind of things. Great lunation to do that. But pay attention to your dreams. All right, pay attention to your dreams and any signs, symbols, synchronicities, because there could be some sort of insight or message coming in for you. We've got the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, we can sometimes be at a crossroads. Do I go left? Do I go right? Is it yes? Is it no? Is it black? Is it white? But the Two of Swords, often the answer lies somewhere in the middle. But the Two of Swords can show that we're in some sort of a dilemma, right? We're not sure what the answer is. So what do we get? Clarity. Now, quite often, the Two of Swords represents that the answer that you're looking for, maybe that you didn't even know you were looking for, might not be right in front of you. You can't see it yet. So you could be blindsided a little bit by something. Again, you can have a little bit of a surprise with this, and this can be a surprise pregnancy. It can be a surprising new romance here as well, or a new opportunity to create something that's fun, right? So that Two of Swords can just represent something that you don't see coming, right? But you might need to make a decision once it arrives. Do I accept this gift or do I say no? But with that Two of Swords, also, we've got the blindfolds on. So it can be something that we purposely put the blindfolds on and we just haven't quite seen. Or it can represent that the answer is not external. The clarity lies within. Our intuition will guide us. Okay. And so again, you know, with the clarity energy, clarity often does come when we quiet our conscious mind and we find just a little bit of a quiet space to allow the answers to flow, allow our subconscious to show us and guide us and lead us on the way. So again, they, you know, you might not know that you're looking for some answers. You might not know that you need clarity on something, but then again, you might, right? But that answer may lie when internally and may really come to light when you do a little bit of meditation. All right. But remember, sometimes the clarity comes from unexpected places and things that we can't quite see. But the twos do represent balance, harmony, and fairness. So we, you know, try and make a balanced and fair decision about something. But it can also, you know, can also represent that maybe you've got some options. And so you might need to make a decision. And if we're confused about what the answer is, go within. I'll leave that there for you, Saggy. Good luck at this full moon. We'll move on now to Capricorn. Hello there, Capricorn, and welcome to your full moon and Aries reading. So there could be some interesting things going on around your house, your home, your family, your children. All right. This is happening in your 4th house, and this is Cancerian energy ruled by the moon. So there could be a little bit of mystery and magic, but there could also be some potentially heightened emotions. So do just be aware of that. You might find if you've got teenagers, perhaps they're hormonally driven anyway. And at a full moon in Aries, perhaps they have a little bit of extra spiciness about them at this time. So that Mercury, when Mercury goes into Scorpio, again, it can be extra intensity, but you can also have the insight that, okay, there's something else going on, or this is just their emotions run wild. So I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to approach them a little bit later when they're a little bit calmer. Anyone with teenagers or children know that exact feeling. But the 4th house, this can be where something is changing around your house and home. This can be about who you live with. If you've been single, Aries energy, right? A lot of often singular, right? It's about me, and my dreams and my goals and all this kind of stuff, right? So if you've been single for a while, okay, the full moon in Cancer can perhaps change your living situation. So whether you decide that you need a roommate, whether you're move in with a romantic interest, you know, perhaps your parents might move in with you as well, or one of your children might move back home, right? So you could have something changing there, but at the same token, right, not only can you add, okay, we can harvest, right? We can have additions to our home, but we can also have departures from our home as well. So again, one of your children could move out. Perhaps you've been going through a rough time with a spouse, so something could change there. You could find yourself all of a sudden being an empty nester, but some of you could also be looking to move where you live as well. So the fourth house does have to do with the foundations you've built, the home where you live, your sense of security and privacy. And, you know, again, there's things might be changing there or getting better depending on your situation. It also does have to do with your nurturing parent, most often your mother or a female figure, but not always. Okay. Also does have to do with your children or your youth. So some of you could be healing some old wounds from your childhood, perhaps. Some of you might be inclined to look up your family tree, because the fourth house does have to do with your ancestry there as well. So you could be getting some sort of answers, and maybe you need them for medical reasons, or maybe you're just curious, right? We're just curious about our little family tree there. You just never know what you might find. So everything centered around your house, your home, your family, where you live, and all those wonderful things. We have rejoice coming in there for you. So some of you could get some really good news. Now, for some of you, becoming an empty nester or something, it can be really good news. You get some more privacy and some peace and quiet. But this can also just represent that you might have some sort of something to celebrate, okay, at this time. You could find the house of your dreams, perhaps, you know, or you've got something really positive going on in your family, or you just feel like this is a really good time to give gratitude for everything that you have accomplished, everything you've experienced, and everything that you've been through, right? So we just have this really positive energy when we rejoice. So we also have, there's no reversals in this one, it just came out upside down. We also have focus. Okay. Now, focus can be a really good thing. Focus on your dreams, your goals, focus on what you want to change, focus on the positive and not the negative, right? But focus can also represent sometimes that if we focus too much on one thing, we may ignore other things. So make sure that you are putting your focus into places that are really positive. Okay. Don't lose sight of your golden dreams, but also keep a little bit of awareness open there. But it can just be that something you've been focused on, there could just be something that pays off for you right now. So it can be really quite exciting. We also have the Seven of Cups. Interesting that we have the focus card when we get the Seven of Cups, because the Seven of Cups can represent confusion, procrastination, living in your imagination or your fantasy land and not coming into reality. Okay, so when we have the Seven of Cups, we quite often do daydream a little bit. You know, we do kind of go overboard with something a little bit, right? Overindulge or overimbibe or whatever it happens to be. But ultimately, our imagination is a good thing. Having a fantasy, having a daydream is a good thing. But the Seven of Cups, right? We're too much up in our head sometimes, right? We're too much in our fantasy land, in our dream state, and we can get confused. We can procrastinate because we're not coming into reality. So when we focus, we can turn our dreams, our fantasies, our visions into something real. What does that look like for you? So for you, for some of you, the end of this cycle, right, this full moon can represent letting go of your fears, letting go of procrastination, taking charge of your situation, focusing on what you want and making positive change, or finding that new thing, whatever it happens to be for you. The Seven of Cups can also represent that you've got options. So, you know, you might have different opportunities, but you need to make a decision as to which one's right for you, and especially about your home, or even about who you live with, or something about the future. It's like there's a whole bunch of different scenarios that can play out depending on what you choose, or depending on where you live, right? I mean, imagine if you're trying to find a new house in a better neighborhood, right? It's always a little bit of a gamble. What if your neighbors are wonderful, but also what if your neighbors are a little bit loopy? You know, you don't always know. So sometimes that Seven of Cups, we get confused, and we often are a little bit wrapped up in fear, right? It's like, I just don't know. What if I choose wrong? And when we worry too much about potentially making the wrong choice, then we ultimately don't make any choice. So that focus energy is going to help you to make some choices, or to bring some daydreams and fantasies into reality, whatever that looks like to you. Also going to focus on, how should we say, focus your energy and channel your energy in a better way to bring some really positive results to you. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. Good luck in this lunation. We'll move on now to Aquarius. Hello there, Aquarius, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. This is happening in your third house. Now, your third house is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, on the same day as this full moon, moves into the sign of Scorpio. Okay, so this can represent some intense conversations. This can represent a sharing of some creative ideas. This can represent getting together with other people. Scorpio rules the 8th house, and the 8th house is the things that you share with others. Your money, your resources, your home, your partnerships, your business partnerships, all those kind of things. So you could be having some very either intense or interesting conversations. These can result in growth, in higher level of commitment in things, but they can also sometimes perhaps represent a final ending, right? We're in a full moon, okay? So it can go either way. Something can either blossom or something can come to a crashing end, all right? But whatever it happens to be, Mercury rules your third house. This is where this lunation is happening for you, and Mercury will be in Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. And so this can be about taking your power back, or this can be about someone trying to control you. And what are we doing? We're saying no, right? We're taking our power back, and we're not going to let people or things or situations have control over us anymore. But the third house can be a lot of chit chat, a lot of communication, but you can also be trying to simplify your life in some way here as well, right? Especially if you've had way too much communication and overload, right? Communication systems down, people, right? It's just like, I just want to turn off my technology. I don't want to answer any more emails. I just want some peace and quiet. So you could be potentially considering making some sort of change, or at least just removing yourself from a situation, even if it's temporarily, just so that you can recharge your batteries. You are a sign that you can be very much an extrovert when you have to be, but you do need to recharge your batteries, right? You do need that quiet space. You do need your peace. And if you haven't been getting it, this has probably been a really challenging 6 months for you. I'm an Aquarius sun, and let me tell you, whoo, boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm ready for 2025 to kind of be done at this point, right? It's mostly work stuff, right? And, I took one day off and came into 300 emails. It's just insane. So hopefully that's not your situation. And if it is, hopefully something comes to a close. Hopefully something comes to an end and something gets resolved and we can move forward in a healthier, happier, better way. But your third house also has to do with education. Especially early education. So you could be taking like some small classes or something just to better your situation. Also does have to do with your social life, your neighborhood. So something can be changing in your neighborhood. You might get new neighbors or something, or perhaps the Joneses next door that drive you batty, maybe they finally pack up and leave, and that can be a sigh of relief for you there as well. All right, but you could have some changing of perception, or just keep an open mind at this full moon, and things may go quite well for you. But again, that third house energy with full moon, you could actually have some really good news for some of you there. We have fairy tale. Now, this can be a very interesting energy. Fairy tale can be, right? Fairy tales aren't necessarily butterflies and rainbows, right? Fairy tales may or may not always have a really good ending. So with the fairy tale energy, number one, some of you have been fantasizing about something, okay? There's been some story playing out in your head, right? Kind of like fairy tale. And this can be where something may come to fruition for you, and it can be really good news. It can be really something wonderful that can, clear your path to something extraordinary. It can be great, right? And because you've, embraced your own story there, right? Some of you could have a fairy tale ending on something here, okay? It can be wonderful. It can be magical. It can be awesome, right? And of course, those fairy tales, we have good things that happen, we've got bad things that happen, right? There's always a moral to a story somewhere there as well. So perhaps you're figuring out the moral to a story that has been unfolding, okay? But the fairy tale energy can also be about detaching from reality. And sometimes we need to do that a little bit just to replenish our energy, right? Again, right? You need to detach a little bit there to recharge your batteries and refresh your mind, right? But that fairy tale can be a little bit of a cautionary tale, right? Because if we're living too much in a fantasy land, then we're not in reality. Okay. And sometimes that's really good. Sometimes it's really fantastic. It's awesome because that's our imagination station, right? It's a great, great thing. It's where those ideas come from. It's where those innovative solutions come from that Aquarius is known for, right? But we do need to be a little cautious with the fairy tale sometimes because we can live too much in our imagination and we can be an armchair astronaut. So we're playing out our fantasies, playing out our life in our head, right? And we're not doing anything to make them a reality. So take that fairy tale energy as you will, right? Because it can be really good. It can be something kind of a little bit halfway. But it can also be something that's a little bit of a heads up for you from the universe. But hopefully, for all of you, hopefully it's a fairy tale ending. Something that is even maybe better than what you imagined. It can be a door opening for you. It can be perhaps someone leaving, right? Especially if you've had some troubles at work or anything like that, or you've been running off your feet. And perhaps your fairy tale ending is the troublesome person or situation is gone. Bye. And you've got that fairy tale ending, whatever it happens to be. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here as well. Now, this is a really positive energy because, of course, the Wheel of Fortune represent the tides of change, represents the ebb and the flow of life. And fortunately, this bad boy is in the upright. So this represents that, number one, there's some good luck, good fortune headed your way. So hopefully you do have that fairy tale ending. The Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter. And even though we do have a little bit of a challenging energy the next day after this lunation with Jupiter, sometimes Jupiter can shake things up a little bit so that we find freedom, so that we can move forward in a better direction. But the Wheel of Fortune in the upright does represent a cycle, a period coming in of growth, of abundance, of opportunity. We're moving forward. We're also embracing the ebb and flow of life. The Wheel of Fortune does remind us of that. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. Sometimes we're growing, sometimes we feel like a wilting wallflower. All right. And we have to kind of go with the flow. We've got to take action when we need to, right? But we also need to really kind of ride the wave sometimes, okay? But with that Wheel of Fortune coming in the upright, this is a really positive change for you. Some of you might just get that lucky break. Some of you may have some things that are changing. You could have some surprises headed your way because the Wheel of Fortune can sometimes be a little bit of a surprise. It's like, whoa, that's unexpected, okay? But it can be something that really helps get you moving forward in a really positive direction. Jupiter is in Cancer, so it can be something around your house and home, but it can also be just something, you know, about your sense of security, right? And so you could have some really positive things going on there. But whatever your situation is, if you've been feeling stagnant over the last 6 months or so, or you've been feeling overwhelmed, the Wheel of Fortune says, chin up, my friends, because things are going to get better. Okay, you might just find yourself in the right place at the right time. You could have, you know, again, a little bit of luck on your side, right? With that Wheel of Fortune, you never know, but growth, forward momentum. And of course, Pluto is in your sign. Pluto has been retrograde for the last number of months, and Pluto on the 13th of October will be moving back direct. So again, you could have been really feeling trapped and stuck, and the Wheel of Fortune is setting you free right around the time when Pluto turns direct back in your sign. We get forward momentum, we get a sense of a sigh of relief, and hopefully some really positive changes coming your way. Leave that there for you, Aquarius. Good luck in this lunation. I thank you for watching. We'll move on now to Pisces. Hello there, Pisces, and welcome to your full moon in Aries reading. So this is happening in your second house of money. So this is all about your money, your income, your investments, how much money you make, where you make it, how you invest it, how you save it. It also has to do with your resources, the things that you own, so your property, your possessions, and also your value, right? Your value, your sense of worth, right? Knowing your value. So with this, there could be something perhaps that is coming to fruition for you with this full moon. So you might have put some money somewhere 6 months ago, and now here you can see the growth perhaps, but you could also be considering moving your money as well. It's like, okay, this has gone okay, but I'm feeling a little bit concerned about what the future holds. For my money, I need something a little bit more secure. So you could be making some decisions about that with your money and your investments. But the second house is ruled by Venus, and Venus is, of course, a wonderful benefic. Venus is our planet of love and money and growth and abundance and new beginnings and creativity and the things that make us feel good, or the things that make us feel good about ourselves, right? Or our sense of self-worth, right? So we got some beautiful energy with Venus helping you out, letting go of some negativity perhaps and embracing more positive vibe, hopefully bringing you some gifts, bringing you some presents, as Venus tends to do. And so this can be really wonderful. But Venus is in the sign of Libra right now. So with Venus being in Libra, it's very at home in that energy. And so, you know, this can be where something is really blossoming, or it's your time to blossom and shine and reap the rewards that you justly deserve. We have white light energy there for you guys. So this is beautiful. Number one, you can surround yourself with the white light of protection at this full moon, okay? Protect yourself, protect your assets, all right? If you're, afraid of something, sometimes we're afraid of change, or we're just kind of afraid of what's going on in the world, call in that white light of protection to surround you, okay, and to perhaps even guide you as well. White light can also indicate something coming down to us through our crown chakra. All right, so you could be getting some insights and some spiritual growth at this time. Full moons do tend to bring in a little bit of spiritual growth for us, and they can bring in some very interesting and spiritual insights or signs, symbols, synchronicities, dreams as well. Okay, so whatever your situation is, that white light is there guiding you and protecting you, surrounding you in a sarcophagus of protection there. But a great time to actually engage in some protections around this full moon, right? You are very empathetic, and you're probably very sensitive to this particular lunation, okay, a little bit more than some of the other signs may be. All right. And this can be really good for you for, for your intuition, or for your dream state, or for just having this sixth sense, right? But it can also be really challenging because you feel other people's aggression, right? And people can be aggressive at this particular lunation, right? So, whether you can just visualize or just call in white light, but you can also work with crystals. You can also work with candles, to release any kind of fears and worries and doubts and those kind of things, right? You can light a candle for protection as well. So whatever moon rituals that you do, it's a great time for just a little added protection there. So protect your energy, protect your emotions, protect your psyche, that kind of thing. You can very simply carry around a crystal. Selenite is really good. Tourmaline. Right? Tourmaline is awesome for not just protection, but also transmutes negative energy into positive energy. So there's a number of different crystals that you can work with, and you can usually find them very simply, and they're not expensive. So it could just put it in your lipstick pocket in your jeans or something, and carry it around with you. And that can be very helpful as well. We have Temperance, guidance and protection. The Temperance card is Sagittarian energy, okay, but it is quite often a guardian angel card, right? A card of spiritual protection and guidance. So again, you're either you're either getting like some spiritual growth or guidance or some clarity or something, some signs at this time, or this is just a double hitter here, a double whammy in your energy, saying that something may be going on around you at this time, that your sense of health, happiness, well-being, your sense of self-worth may be impacted in some way. Maybe someone's just in a really foul mood and they take out their anger and their aggression on you. We don't like that, but it can happen at the full moon, right? And especially this fiery Aries energy, it's warrior energy, right? And, you know, so this is saying, hey, in times of trouble and strife, in times where you're worried, or times where you just feel like you need a little bit of, you know, of spiritual protection, call in your angel spirits and guides. Boom, they'll be right there. And not to worry. Okay, Bob's your uncle. But the Temperance card can also represent peace and moderation. Okay, also patience. So be patient with the people around you, right? They might have, their emotions might be going crazy. You know, they might be overly emotional. There could be something going on with them behind the scenes, and they can just be really snappy and really spicy at this time. And it might not be anything to do with you. So again, kind of take that step back, take a calm and patient approach, but also, you know, limit your dealings with people that are in a bad mood, right? Sometimes we can't always avoid it, okay? But sometimes we can just back away. We can just, you know, it's like, you know what? Now is not the time to have this conversation. I'm just going to come back tomorrow and maybe deal with this person when they're in a calmer mood. Temperance does bring about a focus on balance and harmony, and also some healing there as well. But it can be something that can be really beautiful, that might be blossoming around you right now here as well, because we do engage in a little bit of alchemy with the Temperance energy. And like I said, it is Sagittarian energy, and that's ruled by Jupiter. So again, there could be something going on around the house and the home, but you could have something that does get resolved at this time. Okay, and you know, your patience has paid off. Okay, or you need to be a little bit more patient so that you can resolve something in a better way. Having said all that, guys, I'm going to leave that there for you. Okay, I thank you guys for watching. Good luck in this lonation, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.